think it was like a Melvin show. I saw this man go up to like a big speaker that was playing music.
Oh,
and just put his ear right against it.
I don't know what you're hearing other than the tinnitus at that point. Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined as always by my trusty, reliable co-host, Alexander Volt. Say hello.
Hello.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time, except for these EAE singles episodes where we discuss a brand new album at a time. And today we'll be discussing
another brand new band for you guys, Satyasena.
Sätyäsenä. If you're wondering what the hell this is, we're going to tell you. And it's also very exciting because I finally have a relevant excuse to wear my Secret Chiefs 3 shirt, or one of my Secret Chiefs 3 shirts, which I never have a good reason to wear.
I just talk about them in general.
I'm always dying to talk about this band, and no one has ever heard of them. No one likes them.
I'm sorry for putting them off for so long, but my interest in them after this album is at an all-time high now.
Is it safe to say Alex likes this album and band?
It's safe to say I love this.
You love.
I love, yes.
So it is very good. We're going to talk more about it. But first, big old giant thanks to our boy Tom Osman, who got this album for us in advance. He just recently interviewed the members of Pej Mon, which is the main dude, the main mastermind. He just interviewed him. I don't know if he put it on his Substack as a full interview or if he just did it for New Noise or one of the other publications he works for. But there's a link to whatever it is in the description because I will have learned after recording this what exactly he did. So check the top of the description. But yeah, this was formed by Pej Mon, and he's like a longtime member of Secret Chiefs 3. To say you're a member of Secret Chiefs 3 is like it's a spring-loaded statement because Secret Chiefs 3 is a band made up of 7 satellite bands. I think it's 7. And each of those satellite bands has their own name, their own style. Yeah. And the only consistent member in all of them is Trace Bruins of Mr. Bungle. Check out that episode. And they're genius. And everyone who's ever played in Secret Chiefs 3 is one of the most amazing musicians ever. And you don't play in that band unless you're ridiculous. Yeah. And I believe he was one of their drummers, and their drummers are ridiculous.
Yes. But he's not playing drums on this album.
He is. He's not playing it live.
But my bad.
He did play drums on the recording of it. And the drums are pretty insane.
Yes.
The album is insane. And how would you even describe what the hell this thing is?
There's 2 ways I could go about it. I mean, the first listen, sometimes I didn't even have like words for what I was listening to. But yeah, it's kind of like you take the Melvins, you take some prog rock, you take some Primus, you take some noise, you take those weird Mike Patton projects, you take some math rock, and you
a lot of Secret Chiefs as well.
Jumble it up, and you get this uniquely awesome heavy metal band.
It is insane. And we've listened to a lot of extreme music. We love extreme music. We love extreme metal.
I realized, and this is kind of vague, and I don't mean to say they sound like Strapping Young Lad, but they scratch that Strapping Young Lad itch I have for just someone doing something unique and weird and kind of goofy in the extreme music space.
Check out that episode. It's like the willingness to do anything that a lot of metal bands don't have, or at least, a lot of them don't have. Where it's like, if you stray too far, then you're becoming less metal. That's why I appreciate artists like Igor or whatever, or Igor or whatever, where it's like, you clearly you like metal, but you're not going to limit yourself to just that. You're going to do all kinds of wacky shit. So
they are really
wacky, and I like a lot of it. But it's like this, where you can listen to this, and any normal person would just hear it as death metal when it is not even close to just death metal. I mean, there was a lot.
There is a lot going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of death metal influence. There's a lot of insane blasting, a lot of, I've called it death metal syndrome in the past, where it's just, or you call it riff salad, where it's just so many riffs that you can't even focus because if you like one riff, too bad because it's gone immediately. Or if you don't like a riff, cool because it's gone immediately. There's no really. It's hard to have a personality to each song. There's moments of that, but there's also big, giant, memorable moments of really unusual choices.
I would say also with most of these songs sitting comfortably average around like the 7-minute mark too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you do get a lot of giant, memorable moments.
Yeah. So interesting backstory of this album. According to the press release, it said that the initial idea from the band came in 2016 when Pej, after a long musical career as a drummer, decided to pick up and learn guitar and vocals from scratch and start writing an album. And it says, having played in others' bands like Secret Chiefs 3 and Ghoul, he was also a member of Ghoul. I was a big fan of them when I was a teenager. Pej was charged to see his own vision come to life. Over the course of 5 years, Pej wrote and recorded demos of the music for the debut self-titled album, while practicing and developing the technique on these new instruments. So this album is 5 years in the making, in addition to him learning guitar.
I don't even know how I would go about learning guitar that quickly to record something like this.
So it's not that quickly. 5 years. So I mean, I've been playing guitar longer than I've been reading, so I can comment on it. I can tell he's not an experienced guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't sound bad. Like, you don't notice any like, oh, that was sloppily done. You could have done that. I'm not hearing that. I'm just hearing the technique. I'm hearing how he's playing. Like, okay, you could tell you just hear the difference after a while. But 5 years is still like a good amount of time to get a good feel of it. I knew guys who'd been playing for like 4 years and they were shredding. So it's like, it just depends on the person. It depends on how much you're dedicating yourself. And this homeboy sounds dedicated.
I guess if you also have a musical background, even though it's a wildly different instrument, you still pick up certain things faster.
There's also like a lot of, for musically inclined people, I've known many. I'm a bit one myself. Like, if one instrument comes easy, many others come easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing with like talent. All a talent is just how easy or difficult the first few months or year is. Because after that, it just becomes work, and you have to practice no matter how talented you are. Talent is really just how easy it is for you to get into a thing, how natural rhythm comes to you, how natural spotting pitch comes easy. That's the talent natural side of it. Hearing this motherfucker drum, I have no doubt that this guy is musically inclined.
Yeah.
You can't just play like that, because even good drummers can't exactly do some of the stuff that he's doing.
Yeah.
It's like a really special thing. So I'm not really surprised that he's got a knack for all of it. It's just like it's just a special musician. Really, this guy clearly he can do it. But he also has some other people with him on this album. He's got, who does he have on this album specifically? He's got Jeff Matz, from, where is Jeff Matz? From High on Fire and Meteoroid Man. So big fans of both of those bands.
Mm-hmm.
And he also got Joe Lester of Secret Chiefs 3 and Intronaut.
I didn't even know someone in Intronaut was in Secret Chiefs 3.
Secret Chiefs 3 is, man.
But like you said, there's a million people in it.
There's a million people, but they all come from really wild, like random areas. There's a band that there was like not a spin-off, but one of the guitar players, I believe, from Secret Chiefs 3, I forget his name. He started a band that has gone through so many iterations. It's like the same members, but they keep changing the name of the band. First, it was the Orange Tulip Conspiracy. And then when I discovered them, they were Atomic Ape. I saw them live and I was blown away. And then they became something else. And I don't. Yeah. So this band, I'm going to go on a little bit of a digression here. I saw them open for Karima, who we were like, we knew members of that band.
Yeah.
And it was the first time seeing Karima. It was the first time seeing Atomic Ape. And I was like, hold on, this band rules. And I think I bought their album, and then I saw them again open for Secret Chiefs, which makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. And there's something that is, man, that band was so good live. They had this baritone sax player. Of course, I don't know anybody's names. And he was like really good in the band. He sounded incredible in the band. They had really cool style. And we you brought him up on the Bronson Arm episode that we did, Patrick Shiryoshi or Shiroishi.
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, people who know him knows he's really prolific in like the underground music, and he's an incredible multi-instrumentalist, but like primarily a saxophone player. And we were outside of, it might have been the Blood Brothers when they did like with that reunion show years and years ago. I was with an old buddy of ours, and then Patrick and a bunch of other people. I'm just standing there not saying anything. And I guess there was some audition coming up for sax player, and Patrick was really nervous about it. And he was like, and his biggest threat was the guy from Atomic Ape.
Oh, fuck.
And then like an idiot, I just blew it out. I was like, oh yeah, no, that guy's awesome. He was like,
oh,
did not go over well. But that's just a complete digression. Like you get random members from all kinds of bands in Secret Chiefs. On this album, we also got Rusty Kennedy from Wax People on Red Fiction. And then all the keyboards and synths were by KJ Kuram of The Locust and One Day as a Lion. I think I saw The Locust that same day.
Probably.
Holy crap.
Might have.
Actually, yes. The same day I saw Atomic Ape and Creamer for the first time, I also saw The Locust. What a weird day.
Isn't this on Justin Pearson's label? Does he have a label, or am I
have absolutely no idea.
I feel like there's a Justin Pearson connection here.
Oh yeah, it's on Sympatry. It's right in front of me.
Oh, there you go.
Sympatry Records.
I guess the Pearson.
It's Toshi's. It's Toshi's label. We didn't even mention Toshi Kasai produced this.
3 weeks in a row, big business.
Fuck. Holy crap. Wait, I didn't even know Toshi did the Big Business Records. I mean, obviously know him because of the. Did he do Big Business, or was it just Melvin's?
I'm pretty sure. Well, I shouldn't say that. I just feel now I got to look him up. So.
Gotta look it. Speaking of the Melvin's connection, Mackie Osborne did the cover.
It's the least Mackie cover ever.
I couldn't believe that she did it when I saw the cover. It just looks like a photograph. I mean, it's a very stylized photograph of a snake, but a lot of cool connections here.
Oh, did you know Toshi actually works on a Dave Matthews album?
What?
Two of them.
Toshi worked on 2 Dave Matthews albums?
He did.
Whoa.
Yes, he did work with Big Business. And you know what? Let's keep the duos going. He worked on some Tweakbird albums too.
Jeez. But it is, because it's a Toshi album, it is not clean. It is not sparkly. It is not fine-tuned. It is dirty as hell.
Real quick, because I don't know when we're going to talk about him again. Probably sooner rather than later. I forget what show I was at, but I think it was like a Melvin show. I saw this man go up to like a big speaker that was playing music.
Oh,
and just put his ear right against it. Fucking amazing.
I don't know what you're hearing other than the tinnitus at that point. Why do that? Why would that work? Dude's nuts.
I was just like, what a man.
That is certainly a human being that I think.
Okay, anyways.
Fucking nuts, man.
Yeah, music. That's why we're here.
Yeah. But he recruited Michael Malinowski and Caleb on bass and Caleb Schneider. Sorry. Michael Malinowski on drums and Caleb Schneider on bass. So they're touring as a trio, which is wild when you hear these songs.
There's a lot going on.
Yes.
So much going on.
Okay, I guess we could talk about the actual songs because, dude, I was having a lot of trouble writing down anything because...
Same.
How do you even explain this shit?
Well, we're going to try. It might not be good enough, but we're going to try.
Let's try. Okay, so it opens up with Invictus, and it is brutal and pretty great.
Yeah, it's like kind of noisy, kind of sludgy. There's electronics in there.
Yep.
There's like thunderous tom drums. They have like ugly vocals, which will throughout the album.
These vocals are real interesting because it's a hodgepodge of mostly buried in reverb, but lots of yells, growls, weird sung stuff. The sung stuff is very unusual.
Interesting usage of blast beats.
Yeah.
Using blast beats when the other instruments aren't like chugging, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool. It's a bit hard to, I mean, a lot of this is very hard to follow. I had to listen to this like 4 times to really process like a lot of it. But still some really strong Middle Eastern moments on Invictus. Very cool stuff. I mean, I could be said that about a lot of tracks here though.
One song more than others, but I'll go in order.
Yeah.
My Passion.
Yeah.
Heavy metal, fuzzy circus music.
That's a lot of, I felt a lot of Secret Chiefs really seeping in there.
There's parts where the band sounds like it's falling apart and then they stop on a dime, and I think that's really cool.
Around it goes into this really cool Indian sounding riff. It's still extreme and super rhythmically complex, but it's like it seems Indian, but I bet if you were to show it to an Indian person, they'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of that kind of stuff. And then there was a section around 325 that fucking rules. I mean, high speed killer riff. Every time it comes on, it just pumps me up.
Also after this song, I was like, I already love them. I don't need to hear the rest of the album. I mean, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to miss out, but my heart was already stolen.
Good.
I love Ancestral, the military snare roll stuff is great. And then you know me, this Seal It with a Kiss of a sitar, and
super middle. Is that a sitar? It gets real Middle Eastern with these.
Yeah.
Around 140, it comes in with all these Eastern instruments, and
then when it gets heavy, it's still fucking great heavy stuff. Yeah. I wasn't expecting. I think they're either female
vocals from Sonya's Selenite.
Yes, and it's song. So then it almost turns into like this weird, like warped, like heavy Susie and the Banshees song. Like, it's so interesting.
It's really interesting. It's super brutal, really Eastern sounding, but those female vocals, I mean, they're like it. You said Susie and the Banshees. I was thinking Cocteau Twins, where it's like it doesn't sound like Cocteau Twins, but the vocal style is like she's not singing unlike Liz Fraser or whatever. But even like in the beginning of that song, it has like these subdued kind of chant like vocals. Slower, but fucking it feels so damn good. Really evil sounding riffs. Dig it a lot.
South Node, there's a lot of this throughout the album, but I call it almost like Morse code guitar riffs.
Oh yeah, like some like fucking
maybe even liturgy
Meshuggah type stuff.
Or where it's just like it sounds like you're sending something in like Morse code.
Yeah,
but really fast. It's oddly the heaviest. There's also something about the guitar tones on this song in particular where it feels like late 90s, early 2000s riffs to me. There is
a brief industrial break around 220 that I like a lot. I mean, it's little things like that really break up the songs, because if it was just pure intense blasting and riff. I mean, obviously we'd get exhausted like a lot of extreme metal does, but he just breaks it up with these little weird moments. And then even like the beginning parts of South Node, it's really frantic and fast, but has these extended vocal lines over it. He's not growling or doing anything like that. But the song it's a death metal in spirit, but way more varied, way weirder. But don't make the mistake, it's still ugly as hell. Like when it's still very, very ugly in extreme metal, but it's just presented in a very unusual way.
One of those nice little moments that you're talking about, I called it like a mellow breakdown, but it's probably more of a bridge. But yeah, it's just so unexpected but welcoming. Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah. Really cool, creepy intro to Split Vibrations. Quickly goes super proggy with a bunch of electronic layers.
Yeah, there's like an element of prog throughout this whole album, but I think this song is like, this is like prog.
A lot of the stop-start kind of stuff. The vocal choices that really remind me of Melvin's.
Vocals are like all over. Yeah.
But that it started to like kind of make sense, like the Toshi connection with the way the vocals are produced on that song. It just started to make a little bit more sense. They're really unorthodox. Very, I mean, they're sung, but they're like, it's like weirdly hushed and just, I don't know. It feels a little sinister. It's very cool. It's weird though. I mean, the whole thing is weird, I guess, but around 3 minutes in, it gets really straightforward and rocking. But I mean, each song just goes so many different places. It's really hard to keep track of. This thing, I mean, songs like that, you really need to be patient. You need to listen to it multiple times.
Oh, there's so many nuggets. And
this, like after the first listen, I retained nothing off the first listen.
I stopped writing notes after track 3 on my first listen because I'm like, it's pointless. Yeah. I just have to let this like wash over me. Yeah. I wrote down my initial thoughts and then listened to it like a bunch more times, just trying to like absorb it. And to the point where I had to, until I started remembering the parts, that's when I started realizing like, this is fucking crazy good. What was it? The only song I have problems with is actually Vibrational Hydration. And shut the front door.
It's the first big chunk because it's one of the longer songs, 7 minutes. But there's I dig the spacey reverby vocals over it, but the riff choices they're slightly emotional. They're a little bit anthemic, and I just don't care. I just don't care for the writing in the first chunk. I still love the arrangements and the drumming, of course, Jesus Christ. But as it keeps going on, no song does one thing the whole way through. So it just keeps elaborating and going to these weird, crazy sections. There's a heavy section, the final chunk that fucking rules. It turns it around. I still like the song a lot. It's just the first chunk that I had a problem with.
I love every second of that song. It's like they took desert rock or like Caius and like ran it through this like weird world that is Pej. And I think it's some of my favorite riffs, and I agree with you at the end. That big there's this big heavy part, especially because so many riffs are so busy, and when that big heavy part comes in, it's almost like you've been eating like these really rich meals, and then you get these like there's something big and simple, and it rules.
That's what this album does well. It does. My problem with death metal, as much as I like death metal, I never loved death metal because it always has too many little riffs, a million little riffs. For not every band, fuck you. Plenty of bands do different things, but like, I mean, general thing, you listen to early Cannibal Corpse, it's just 1,000 small riffs in a song. They will do the super proggy million riffs, and then they'll throw in one big, really easy to grasp, simple riff that goes on a while. So that's the thing that sticks with you. That's the thing that you can latch onto that. Like, I still enjoy the crazy technical stuff with like, the short, overwhelming riffs, the million riff approach. But when you throw in one big fat one to chew on for a while, it's how you place your foot in the ground. Like it's how you solidify and how you like, I don't know. That's how I process it as like, oh, that's that song now. I hear it as that song because of these big and powerful, memorable moments. Truecore, man, I don't even know how to describe those opening moments. It's like evil majestic.
It's also slow. It's somehow evil majestic and slow and fuzzy. It's all of these things.
It's a great riff. It's a killer riff. Almost doomy in a way.
I feel like this one is a little more, well, at least to start off, it's a little more groovy than the like normal chaotic nature of this album.
Yeah. Around 2 minutes in, that's when it goes through this.
I was going to say, but fear not, it does get chaotic.
Sure does. I mean, there are some wacky moments with the vocals on that song, like just strange choices. It's fun. It's fucking weird, but it's fun.
Yeah, I think if I have like any complaints about the album, and it may just be because it's so rich that like the last 2 songs, I'm like, okay, I know what these guys are doing now. Not really. I don't know, but I'm familiar with the sound. And so I feel like the last 2 tracks don't pack the same punch as the first 6.
I do like the last two songs. The thing is,
they're not bad songs at all.
No.
That's why I was just like a little like nitpicky reaction.
There's something about the last 2 songs specifically that they both do. They both do haunted house spooky riffs. A lot of them, especially the closer, Draconist.
Yes,
but Truecore also has it, like as a little bit later in the song, and it's like, I mean, it's fun and it's kooky and it's strange. I mean, the song itself is still hard to follow and wild, but I was like, all right, this is some fun little like campy, spooky riffs. And Draconis is all that. It is full on like it's haunted house spooky riffs with prog arrangements.
Yeah, Draconis like really gets interesting to me around like the 3-minute mark. If this is like escalate or they like turns into this like big thing, and it feels like the only song where they build, where like maybe the other ones are just all these like crazy peaks and valleys, but this is like, okay, we're gonna start here, we're gonna go here, and it feels like it gets bigger as it goes on.
Yeah, around a minute in, it goes into this really fun and almost like upbeat and catchy section, which is nowhere else on the album. You're not gonna find anything like upbeat and catchy except for that spot. And then as it goes on, as it grows and builds, there's even like it gets thrashy at times too, which, I mean, I'm a big thrash fan, but it feels even better because it doesn't do that in the rest of the album. It's still, it's just every song does a 1,000 different things that aren't on the previous song. The only through line is a lot of the Middle Eastern elements in the writing. That's really the only consistent thing.
I will say, even when you think Draconis is over, the weird, more like soundscape.
Oh, the outro.
Like, it's a really quick, like, or I think it's about 2 minutes.
It's a lengthy outro. Yeah.
But it does, I never noticed it. It just like feels perfect.
It's texture rich. It's fucking really cool. And even though it's technically just ambience, it feels like more than that. I don't know. There's something really like mesmerizing and deep about that outro. It's really well done. I knew it was long, but I didn't think it was that long. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I thought it was over, so I went to look at it. And I was like, oh, there's about like 2 or so minutes left here.
It's a crazy outro. But what I like about this album, what I love about it, is that it's like you get the elements that it has on paper, like death metal, Middle Eastern, industrial, electronic, and I just feel like you combine all those elements and you get a lot of cheesy things that we've seen in the world.
Yeah, or it's kind of like, well, if you're using a painting metaphor, if you like combine too many colors, you get this
doo-doo brown
or ugly gray, and this guy's like, he's onto something. Like, he knows how to take these different colors and not like make a doo-doo brown salad, I guess, but because it is overwhelming, but not in a like off-putting way. When
I think of all those elements put together, I think of overproduced, I think of novelty, I think of like, honestly, it's so funny. I'm thinking of Igor. who's fucking, was a 2020 album that I really liked. But even then, it's like really clean, shiny production, insanely immaculate performances. But it feels novel. Like, I bet you're not gonna expect this wacky thing right here. Here's a wacky part.
There's some fucking maniac going at it at a fucking, what does Weird Al play?
An accordion?
An accordion.
Exactly. Yeah. But this feels, maybe it's the Toshi production. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just the songwriting, but it feels way more dirty and like it's its own on genre kind of thing. It doesn't feel like it feels way more authentic than, it doesn't feel like a blending of genres. It feels like this thing that this guy made.
It sounds just like natural More like a Mama Leak type thing.
Exactly, like a Mama Leak thing, where if this was better produced and cleaned up and more immaculate, I wouldn't find it to be that unique and interesting. It's like it's a real rawness to the way this is. Like I would never expect those blending of genres with incredible musicians. I would never expect it to feel raw, and it does.
Real quick, looking at the credits here, going back to Ancestral, it's an electric tar.
Electric tar. It's literally what it's called.
Yeah.
Interesting. Played by Salman Mohammadi. Mohammadi. All right, I can't read that word. Holy crap.
Killed it, brother.
There it is. Yeah. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, it is not for everyone. I mean, Jesus Christ. I can't imagine. I can't name very many people that I've met that would enjoy this, but
funny story. I sent the band. I was trying to send the Bandcamp to my friend John, but I sent it to our John,
our mutual buddy John.
Yeah,
and did he say, "Yeah"?
He's like,
"Miss me with this bullshit."
Oh no, he was like, "Oh, this is like really neat," and I was like, "I'm glad you enjoyed it." But I actually meant to send this to a different John, and he's like, that's just the story of my life. I thought you were sharing something neat and cool with me.
No,
and it's just wrong.
To be fair, I did open the door for him last year to extreme metal.
Yeah,
I sat down with. We were hanging out, and I said, I made the pitch for Ruins of Everest.
Yeah.
And I said, at least listen to this song. I think even if people hate extreme metal, you can listen to this song and be down with it. And I was in Germany and I got a text from him like late at night because of the time difference saying, I listened to the song while high. It was amazing. I thank you so much for sharing it with me. Nice. I was like, yeah, nice.
So yeah, both Johns liked it. That's who I shared it with. Also shared it with Ariana.
Oh yeah, the mutual friend and a friend of the pod. But
so I'm telling,
you're telling the world, baby.
I have a podcast to tell the world,
and now we're telling the world.
Yeah,
listen to the damn album if you like extreme music in any way, and also listen to Secret Chiefs 3. Man, they need support. Trey's doing fine because he's touring with Mr. Bungle, but I hope he can go back with Secret Chiefs and do stuff again because
there's literally 100 mouths to feed in that band.
There really is. Also, I took John to see Secret Chiefs 3 one time.
Oh, nice.
I forgot about that.
What did he think of that?
He recently said that he remembers it as one of his fondest memories.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, it was an incredible show. They're incredible live. They have they usually have mostly the same touring members. Mm-hmm. I've seen them with two different drummers, but they usually have the same violinist who is fucking amazing. And of course, I don't know his name. And even though I love their albums, them doing it live, it's just like they would open up their shows with a cover of Danse Macabre, which is an old classical piece, but the way they do it is fucking incredible. They have a recorded version that they released on vinyl that I remember picking up a long time ago, and it's cool, but it's played with a real orchestra, and it's recorded very like creepy and lo-fi, and it's still a great song, but when they play it live, it fucks you up. I mean,
it hits different.
It hits so different. Oh man. And I think the last time I saw them, fucking Neil Hamburger was in the crowd. I didn't say anything because I hadn't met him yet and I was nervous.
Legendary.
I mean, he was just Greg Turkington. He wasn't in the getup as Neil Hamburger, but I recognize him. He's a very nice man. I did meet him once, but hell yeah, check out the album, man. And check out the interview that Tom did. Check the description for whatever medium that it is. It's fucking sick. I mean, and check them out on tour. They're playing, by the time this releases, it doesn't matter. But yeah, follow them around. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yep. So thanks so much for listening and watching and hanging out. Please follow me on all social media at Pander Monkey and Alex on Instagram at
Every Album Alex.
And of course, our history guy Tom Osman at Tom Osman Sounds on all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com for all his music and his Substack, where he has his podcast, as well as all kinds of other writing on music. He interviews a lot of cool musicians. He's got a lot of work behind him. Go check him out. Links to all that in the description. Also, my EP, check out my EP, listen to that, please. Link in the description. Cool. And of course, patreon.com/every album ever. That's where you go. We have bonus episodes all over there. You get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You get to join our Discord and be a part of our community. And that's also where we pick out our singles episodes like this one. So if an album came out this year and you want to hear us talk about it, throw it on there and we'll pick it out. And if you're tier 2, if you're bigger than Jesus, then you can suggest a full discography for us to cover on our bigger, longer numbered episodes. And if you're tier 2, you can also suggest any album from any discography for us to cover on a Patreon bonus episode. So go there, please, and thank you. Well, final song. Well, we have they released a few tracks already. And which one of these songs would you like to hear?
I like Vibrational, but I'll settle for My Passion if you don't feel that strongly.
What is your heart telling you?
Track 6, Vibrational.
Hydration. So that's what we're doing. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.